I say that I'm a resource for parents rather than saying anything more rigid than that, because I really am bringing parents alongside my own parenting journey. When children behave a certain way, really acknowledging that there's an emotion underneath that and not just taking it at face value. You still need to fill your own void. You really need to love yourself. You can't always rely on someone else filling that, because it'll come up in other. Awareness is how you start chipping away at healing. So I just wanted to feel a little bit more manageable.
Well, hello, Jennie. Oh my goodness. I just want to tell you something, even before we even get started. Thank you for being here, because what you do and what you represent is so dear to my heart. I am such an advocate about children and our growth and how we were raised, and how you as parents, as, mothers, fathers, how we all have these opportunities to do better. And we all have opportunities. There's no perfect parents or anything like that. You're talking to a mother of 5 children. But I do realize, and based on my own childhood, who didn't have the healthiest childhood. And I knew that, I wanted to create something different for my children. And I know that that's the work that you do. And, it's part of the work that you do. So I just want to say, oh my goodness, I'm getting I'm getting choked up just talking about this right now. So I'm gonna calm down, Jennie. And before we actually get started, I really want our listeners to know who you are. And I know I'm going to have you explain it, let us know about who you are also. But I took some time and I wrote some things down, and I'm going to just read exactly what I wrote. And I want to go from there. Is that cool?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Jennie. Okay, here we go. Got to get my glasses on. After I turned, 52, I was like, oh, you do need little glasses now, but that's okay. That's okay. Here we go. Let me get in. Okay. And I wrote it as if I was going to read it. So I'm just going to do it how I wrote it. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay. It's just a little bit of a flow. Okay. I am so excited to welcome today's guest, Jennie Monnes.
Yeah.
Jennie has a master in psychology and education from Columbia University for over 15 years of experience in childhood education. She's the co-founder of the Union Square Play, a parent-child community built around open-end child-led play, and Charm Spring, which creates tools that help parents and children move through routines with more connection. She's also the host of the podcast, We Didn't Turn Out Okay, where she explores how our own childhood experiences shape who we are as parents and as adults. What I love about Jennie is her passion for respect, emotional honesty, and truly seeing children for who they are. She reminds us that parenting isn't just about perfection, it's about connection. And the way that we show up for our children lays the foundation on how they will learn to love, trust, and create relationships later in life. Welcome. Yeah.
That was so nice.
Oh, no, seriously. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me on. It is truly an honor. I love the work that you do, and I'm excited for us to have this conversation together to hopefully, as you've said, help others, put information out into the world, help lift them up, make things feel light. A lot of what I do can sound heavy, but what I hope it does is actually lighten people's heaviness. But yes, I'm thrilled to be here.
Oh, this is so good. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Jennie. So I was thinking about really, what I wanted to ask you. And I have so many questions for you. And I actually, again, another thing that I did, and I usually love to ask questions based on our conversation. But there are some questions that I wrote down just to make sure that I don't forget about them, because it was really important that I asked you certain questions. But before we go into all those questions, can you tell the listeners, for those of you that are listening and getting to know Miss Jennie for the very first time, oh my goodness, get in her world. You guys, she's amazing. Okay. But for those are listening right now, can you just, you
Yeah,
share a little bit about you and your background and where you come from? And let's just start from there, Jenny.
great. Yes. So as Charlene said, I'm Jennie Monnes, and I am an early childhood educator. I say that I'm a resource for parents rather than saying anything more rigid than that, because I really am bringing parents alongside my own parenting journey, coupled with my background, of course, in early childhood development and psychology, but really also owning and living that we don't have all the answers, even if we know all the science, even if we have all this experience working with infants and toddlers like myself and children. Every child is so different. And what I really want to do is empower parents to feel as though they're the expert in their own child rather than me. So I share a lot of what I've learned through my education and background, but also, like I said, I own the realness of how hard it is to implement a lot of things that we want to implement in tough moments with our kids. And from there, I really saw early on the need for in-person support, which is why Union Square Play was born, to bring parents and their young kids together to sort of be on this journey together. Under, of course, the premise that this is a child haven where we're giving children the opportunity to share who they are, to honor their curiosities, to give gross motor development, music classes, all those opportunities to them, and bring parents and caregivers together. And then we saw a real need for products to help parents at home, which is how Charm Spring was born. I've had co-founders in both ventures and really have seen how much both in-person support and products can help parents when we put them out in a thoughtful way and we create them with intention. And lastly, just like you, I'm a host of a podcast. Mine is very new. I think yours is too, though, right?
Yes. So yeah, I think we've been out about a year and a half. This is, I think, my 83rd episode.
So I'm at like 30 episodes. I launched in January, and my podcast is called We Didn't Turn Out Okay, with a ... at the end. More meant to help lighten parents into knowing that when they can acknowledge their sort of hangups, roadblocks, triggers, things like that, they can actually show up better as a parent, but mostly for themselves instead of just remaining on autopilot through all of that. So I feel like when we recognize the areas where we can acknowledge, oh, that isn't really so okay, or maybe I didn't feel so good about this in my upbringing, it actually can make us feel better. So yeah, those are the things that I do. So I'm excited to dive into any or all.
This is fantastic. I'm telling you, this is my heart. This is my heart, as a mother, as a woman that really has learned and understood how we are raised in our environment really shapes us, Jenny. It really shapes us. And I want to ask you this, this podcast is also, about the matters of the heart.
Yes.
And I really believe with all my heart, again, coming back from, our childhood, or coming back from, a relationship that is a breakup, something that, we've experienced, loss. I know that actually shows up also in romantic relationships, how we were programmed from the beginning and how that really shows up. Can you start there? Talk about that.
Yes, completely. I mean, even from like personal experience, but I think if we pull back a little from personal experience and we think about our earliest experiences with someone other than us, of course, are our parents or whoever is raising us. So of course, they're the ones there to meet our survival needs, right? Like make sure we're fed, bathed, clothed, all of those things. But also they're our compass in terms of how we begin to wire and feel about ourselves. Like, am I enough even when I'm sad? Or am I liked even when I get angry or misbehave? Things like that. And it's why so much of what we're doing now out in the world on social media is helping parents honor all the feelings for children, because really that's like what wires us. when children behave a certain way, really acknowledging that there's an emotion underneath that and not just taking it at face value, because from 0 to 7 years old, we know now that that's really when children are figuring out how the world works in terms of, it's a very egotistical stage, obviously, where it's all about themselves, right? Like, my mommy's not happy when I don't do X, or my daddy's more happy when I do Y. These are just examples.
Jenny, can you go a little deeper just real quick for the listeners that are like, 0 to 7? Can you tell them what's going on with the child? Okay, yeah.
At 0 to 7 years old, and this relates to relationships because it's kind of what we seek out later in life. But from 0 to 7 years old, it's really the wiring stage for narratives that we can bring with us for the rest of our lives. Of course, there is neuroplasticity and there's flexibility there. It's not like it's permanent. But if you really think about that fact that from 0 to 7 years old, that's when a lot of these things that we grow up to tell ourselves are formed. You realize, and it could be something like, oh, my mommy said I can't have ice cream for dinner. Yes. And that means she doesn't love me. Like, we don't have so much control. No, we could be the perfect parent, and our children can still create certain dialogues in their mind about themselves and the world. And it really does start forming then. I mean, now there's more research that it goes beyond that, but
and it's a nervous system. It's our nervous system, how we respond. Yeah,
exactly. And that shapes who we seek out, the types of people we seek out in relationships.
Yes.
Truly.
Let's talk about that.
I mean, from personal experience, I really, on the surface, not even on the surface, I have very loving parents. I think that, similar to myself, we bring to our parenting experience our own childhoods. And I think my parents did that as well. And so there was a lot of sort of feeling responsible for the happiness of my parents, like in certain shapes or forms, maybe not in an obvious way, but like weekends, like there was some guilt involved if like I wanted to be with my friends rather than with the family. And, it affected my nervous system, where like weekends, I felt I was like responsible for making sure my parents were happy, type of thing. And
take me back a little bit. Yeah, take me back a little bit. How did you grow up? And did you grow up with a mom and a dad? And did you have any siblings? Okay, tell me how you grew up. Where did you grow up?
And, to relate to like love, relationships. But yes, I have 2 sisters. I'm the middle. We're all 4 years apart, and I have a mom and dad who were married throughout my life. Very loving. And when I say there was like some guilt, it wasn't like you're in trouble if you're not with us. It was very much like, oh, where are you going? Like, this is family time. Like, it was very much my own way of interpreting that narrative as like a child who was like a perfectionist, wanted to make sure everyone was happy. I'm the middle child. I felt responsible. That could have been my own doing, right?
Your own doing. Yep.
It might not have been like my parents, like, I'm mad at you if you don't. It was more just this role that I felt I had, which was
how you process. It's really how you process. Absolutely. And that's beautiful. You're saying that because, again, remember when Jenny said earlier on, and we talk about children, each individual human being is actually different.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's guidelines.
Right.
On, there's guidelines on what can help that really make a difference. But each individual human being, each child, and again, as a mother of 5 children, let me tell you something, Jenny, I get this because, if you ask any of my children, this is hilarious what I'm about to say to you. If you ask any of my children, how I raised them, they're all going to have a different experience.
Oh, yes. I was just,
what I mean? And I'm like, what? One's like, no, mom was like this. And one's like, I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay, but let's go back to you. So you are in childhood and you're already explaining that your childhood was in a very loving, kind, environment for the most part. No, there's no perfect person. I get that. Okay. Yeah. And again, you guys, parents are actually trying to do the best they can. And our parents are actually doing again, based on their own programming, based on, what they believe or don't believe, and based on the healing and the non-healing that a parent has gone through. Okay.
Yeah,
So
totally.
regardless, so there's no perfect person. And I hear this all the time, Jenny, like you can be raised, in an environment for the most part that was like a really loving, kind environment, but things will still affect you in different ways, and that'll
Yeah,
shape up later. So this is what I'm hearing you say right now. So you were a young girl, and slowly but surely you were already a perfectionist, and you liked things orderly, and you liked things a certain way. And your parents, the way that they would talk to you, obviously was loving and kind, but just the pure fact, that's the difference, you guys. That's the wiring. That's something you can't, this is like the
right.
because they were right. Like, what happened? Because your parents were like, hey, where you going? We want you to be with you. Go
Right.
from there. What started happening?
Yeah, and again, like it sounds like, oh, that's the reason. I just believe that it's part of why I'm always making sure I'm liked. I mean, I've healed a little bit since then.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
wanting to be liked, approved, loved by all, and making sure no one's mad at me, like everyone's happy, like people pleasing. And of course, not just from this concept of where are you going, but it was an example of certain like subliminal behaviors within the home around this that I believe contributed to that inclination in me. You could also argue, I remember being in like 5th and 6th grade and getting to school in a very small private school with just a handful of girls. And on any given day, it was either I was in the in crowd or not in the in crowd. And when you weren't in the
Yeah.
crowd, nobody liked you. You spent the day alone. And so that also impacted my nervous system. Am I going to be liked today?
Yes.
Right. So,
and being a child, honestly, this is
huge. Am I going to be sitting alone today all day? Like those.
I mean, that already is stressing me out.
Right.
Thinking of that. Thinking of like my children having to go through that.
Right.
Okay. Keep going. That's good.
So I think that and I honestly, I've posted on that in social media, and one of the girls, we've never even talked about it, we're still friendly, is like, oh my God, Jenny, I feel so bad. Like she remembered being
really?
Yeah. I love her and know that it was about something else for her, the one that was sort of like leading the pack. But yeah, these early experiences, it makes sense, right? I think so many things out there now are like, oh, you were okay, like, and you were fine. And yes, a lot of us grow up to be okay. But what I think is so powerful about acknowledging the things that I'm talking about is that it helps us to show up, not to make sure our kids never have these experiences. We just talked about we can't make sure of that.
You can't. They're going to have their experiences.
Right. But to make sure they feel safe to like come to us with them before they maybe create the narratives that like I'm responsible for everyone. Maybe they come home and they're like comfortable to say, I was alone all day today just because these girls didn't like me. And instead of it internalizing it as I'm not good enough, you have a parent who could say, how do you feel about that? How do you think, what do you, just to have a conversation. Again, every situation is different. I can't walk through in a whole conversation, but just this open space to help a child sort of come to terms with what that might mean, which is never the child's not enough. It's always about that other child must be going through something, or
yes.
people go through things that make them act certain ways. And it's not about you not being enough and so forth.
I love that. I mean, man, just that alone. Oof.
I mean, a huge theme for me. Yeah. Is like
huge
being enough and like, yeah.
How did that show up? When it came to the matters of the heart with you, when you started liking the boys?
Yes.
Where did that come? How did that show up?
I was a very late bloomer to romance.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like, so maybe it showed up in that way. Like I was so, what's the word? Yeah. Like
close off, maybe just kind of close off, protective, more like, were you like I want to be more of the friend of the guys, not necessarily, or you were like, I don't even want to deal with this guy.
Like I was so frozen by it.
Frozen. Okay. Yeah.
But I will tell you, or some of the early experiences were, if I'm not frozen, like people will think I'm like, talk bad about me or something. Like it was again, this projection of like needing to be like the perfect, like whatever that meant. Right. Like I to think that like, just because you have a romance with someone and like want to kiss them, that it means like someone will talk negatively, but just this hyper focus on the external world of me.
Yes.
And so it held me back from things, but I'd say that then like my earliest relationships, I mean, they were either like healthy where I was enough and secure in them. And that felt like not exciting enough and more boring. And so I usually wanted like the more hard to get relationships, which maybe I'm sure we could analyze makes a little bit of sense. Like I needed to worry and have the role of.
That's good. Yeah. Like you guys, and this is really good. She's saying this. This is why these conversations are so important, because she's also explaining, I'm taking her back. Okay. You know what I mean? I'm taking her back. Obviously I'm taking her back. But she's also explaining the process and how these little whispers actually really shape us in different ways. Right. And again, at the time, this is the crazy part. You can't see it. You don't like, she didn't like how she's explaining to this now. Of course, when she was back then,
lots of work.
That's the work. And that's why these conversations are so powerful. Okay. Because we get to start seeing ourselves and doing the work to show up, in a way that is more empowering for ourselves. Okay. So keep going. That's really good.
Yes. Lots of work. And then ultimately, I think there was like lots of like, oh no, I need to, or I'm looking for the relationships where like, maybe there's like a little bit more of that uncertainty in order to like feel like it was the right thing. So much so that like my now husband, and I just talked about this on someone's podcast.
Okay.
I met him and felt he was the one.
Okay.
But
how old were you? How old were you when you met your husband?
I was a graduating senior, so that makes me 22. I can't even do math.
Yeah, something like 22. Yeah. Okay, let's say early 20s. Early 20s. Okay, you meet your man.
And he's a freshman.
Okay.
So it's like also like I knew he was the one or felt he was, but also this was not good timing for anybody.
You're like, I'm literally graduating and you're starting, buddy.
Right. Yeah. And so there could be some like psychological stuff there, but I will say that it was a very toxic relationship at that stage for both of us. Me deeply needing to control at a time when I was like, I have no control. Like I'm graduating college. This is the real life. I have no idea how to navigate this. I really remember that. Sorry, I'm in New York City, so there's just going to be
No, you're good. You're good. It's kind of cool. You hear that? She's in New York. Isn't that kind of cool? The sirens. We love it. We love it.
And so the relationship was uncertain, not necessarily like how he felt about me, but just, we were in different places in life and proximity. And so for that reason, I felt it was toxic, like not any reason other than like, he was a college kid and I was a graduating senior. And of course, personality wise, I think, again, I was controlling and he didn't want to be controlled. But I will say that so much of what I was seeking in the relationship was feeling like enough that you could say that seeking that out for someone who's starting college is like literally just recipe for like psychological not okayness. And it ended up being that I don't want to like get too much in depth because I just sort of unleashed all of this recently that at 25, when he was about to graduate, I had sort of like this quarter life crisis where I was just like, I'm not okay. And now's the time to acknowledge that I'm not okay, because I am using this relationship to fill a void. And
You
I'm
knew
sure
something was like, you were kind of like, okay, let me ask you this. So you met him when you were graduating college, and then he was obviously starting college, but then you guys stay together. Now he's actually graduating college.
to graduate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys had this, what, like long distance type of relationship?
Yeah. Sorry. I'll backtrack that. It was like,
Okay.
it was like 2 years into that relationship that I was like, I'm not okay. By the time he graduated, I was so okay that I'm like, I don't want to be in this relationship. I had my quarter life crisis. I went away somewhere for a little bit and was like, I need to love myself, and I can't do that in this relationship. And so he's like, what do you mean? I'm about to graduate. Like, this is about to be the time.
They get married. We're going to have a family. What the hell?
She's right.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. And it's just a testament. Of course, we can dive in a little bit more, but it's a testament. I tell people who are seeking to find their significant other, like, you really have to love yourself.
I love that. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
And so I met him at a time when I didn't love myself. And yes, he was the one, but we had to get me to love myself.
Yes. Because you already talked about, see, this is, okay, you guys, oh my God, this is so good.
It really is true. And thank God.
It's really true. Because she already was explaining how, as she grew up, there was always this underlying, like, I don't know, I don't feel accepted, or will they like me if I really show up, Jenny?
Right.
If I'm not, people pleasing, if I'm not, doing everything they want me to do, will they really, really accept me? And then on top of that, and how relatable is this? Do I even accept me?
Yes.
Do I even know me? Am I even happy with me? So you had this awakening of, it's not even, you guys, this is why this is so good. It's not about the guy.
No,
it's about Jenny. You know what I mean? It starts first within. Mm-hmm. So if we are in relationships or we're wanting to be in relationships, we got to really understand, first of all, why do we want to be in a relationship? And what is a relationship? And to really understand what is it that we need as a human being.
Yes.
First, what do we need really as a human being first? What truly, genuinely gives us our peace, our joy, us, regardless of that man, or regardless of the friend or the family or everything like that. So you find yourself, Jenny, again, it's not about the guy. You found yourself, I'm in a relationship, Charlene. Okay, fine. No one's perfect, but the guy's, that's my man. Okay. But not right now. I'm not going to be able to also give to him what he's going to need, because it takes two people to have a relationship, you guys. It takes two people to have a relationship. And I really believe the reason how good relationships actually work, if two people are actually responsible for themselves and they're really looking at their needs and how they're showing up and all that. So you find yourself, ooh, this is good. Yeah. I got the guy, but I'm not good.
Yes.
Ooh, mama, that's a scary spot. Because what happened? Because I bet you're like, well, I don't want to lose the guy, but maybe I am going to. What did you do? What happened here?
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't, of course, as like streamlined as that. It really manifested in me, like I said, trying to control this long distance relationship, like not really giving myself to building my own life. I was in grad school, so I would go to class, come home, and just like kind of obsess over like his doings and until a point where it came to a head, and my family was concerned that I really wasn't living a healthy lifestyle. And we can link to like me getting more deep into like what that meant. I just feel like it will be in a whole other hour.
Yeah.
But like seeking out, filling the void of not having this like stable relationship in unhealthy ways. And so I sort of like surrendered to my family. It was just like, I'm not good. And to my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, and he supported me. Everyone supported me in like sort of taking this break from life. They actually wanted me to. And he stuck through it with me by my side. And then I built back my life. You know, I finished a program that was a combination of, you know, addiction and cognitive behavioral therapy. The therapist said to my parents, like, the door is closed. Jennie's not responsible for your marriage. Don't open up to her about it. There was like many like breakthroughs that we kind of tried to work through. But I will say that that was just like the starting point of me realizing like, I just want to live and be healthy. It wasn't like I want to love myself. I didn't really know that that was possible yet, but I had the clarity to just focus on myself. This is also something to point out. It's not like you're going to leave like a relationship or one day wake up and be like, I love myself.
Yes.
Just start to like have signs that you matter and that you can't just be on autopilot and coast through life with these like wirings that aren't serving you. And like, that was the beginning part of it for me. And then, you know, like friends would reach out and I'd like go for a coffee or this or that, you know, just throughout the next year. And I remember one guy friend in particular, we had an innocent like lunch or something. I don't remember what type of meal, but the questions he was asking me made me feel like I'm not in the right relationship. He was like, he was really caring about my sister, all these questions just as a friend. And I remember saying to my then boyfriend, we this isn't working out. But it was really like I wanted to care deeply about myself, and I wanted to be in a relationship with someone who cared about everything about me. And I realized that just the same way you can't coast along on autopilot with these things, you can't stay in that relationship. Of course, you could argue you could heal yourself while in that relationship, but I felt that wasn't possible.
That wasn't you weren't already married with him.
Right. Exactly. Right. We weren't in a marriage. He was about to graduate. I was like, this is
actually the perfect time if I'm going to do this. Yeah. Because you can still, you guys, honestly, if you're listening to this, and again, this work is individual. And often it doesn't have to do with the partner. We think it's the partner. I swear to you. And every once in a while, of course, you could be with like the worst person in the whole wide world, but that's usually not the case. Usually not the case. Usually the case is that, you know, time goes by and we settle into routine in life. And then this is for my married people, and we start realizing that things are just not, you know, we're not feeling connected. Something's off, you know, certain things like that. And often if we don't listen to podcasts like this and do this type of work, then that's when we kind of find that, you know, our relationship with our person it really starts affecting the relationship with the person, because we start not even seeing this and we put the blame on the person. We really do, right? We're like, well, I'm telling you, if he can just change, if he can do this, he can do this, right? Like, but it's within. So you already had this kind of awakening, and you knew, okay, there's things that I want with the relationship with you and things I don't want, but things I want to feel. And you started having this discovery.
Yes.
I love that.
Actually, I would say that again, it's like not a straight line. I think at the time I probably did like resent and blame him. And
I bet you did. I bet you did.
Questions like that guy friend did. Like,
yes.
You don't know what my sisters are doing. And you could argue that he's probably like, we talk every day. Like, I know what your sister, you know, it's just, exactly what you're saying.
You started focusing on, but that's fascinating. You started focusing on the negative things and not really like realizing that, no, not every man, I mean, come on, right? Like not every man, it doesn't, just because he didn't ask about your sister, it didn't mean that he didn't care for you.
Right.
It's
just it's comparing two different relationships and dynamics. Like
it's the way that it's our perception. It's our, you know, it's what we think it should be, but it's not necessarily how it should be. So you're in that stage with this guy. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and it manifested as like, you know, he was about to graduate and I didn't go to the graduation, and that was really when he realized, okay, she's serious about this. So we broke up. We stayed in touch. I got my first job working with kids, infants and toddlers at a daycare.
Oh, amazing.
And I remember just feeling like this is what I was entirely single, living alone.
Not married, no kids,
No,
totally single.
dating a little bit, but no one serious. Like just that
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
my focus. It wasn't like I
Okay.
was on apps or anything. And I'm not saying there's anything bad with that. Like basically my focus was like finding, this might sound cheesy, joy in being myself.
No, that's perfect. That's not cheesy. That's how it starts. Yes.
Like, I had
Very
gone to
good, Jenny.
I had gotten my master's in an Ivy League school to potentially get like my doctorate. And here I was changing diapers, working with toddlers every day, and my happiest self.
Oh.
And I learned so much about, it all makes so much sense that it was happening for me. I learned so much about children during that time by living and breathing that, with them every day. And then becoming like a director of that school. Anyway, like the whole journey started then. Literally my whole life started then.
This is what you do. This is your passion.
Right. It wasn't about, I need to get the PhD because that's enough.
No.
It was literally like, you love working with kids, just work with kids. I feel privileged that I could do that at the time, that I was able to rely on that. Also things were just so much less expensive then, but I'm just saying like, like a perfect, like, oh, sure, she can just be a daycare worker. But at the time, like it was feasible. I don't know if it would work now, but anyway, it solidified my love for early childhood development and supporting caregivers, other teachers, and becoming like directors of programs and all of that. But I realized that wouldn't have been possible if I was like still looking and seeking out like being enough or the relationship. And so anyway, I really feel like it opened up my calling then too. But then, like 2 years into that, my husband and I found each other at a time when I truly loved myself. He probably was also in a better place than he was as a new graduate. And we started our life together. It was really.
So when you felt like when you finally started your life together with him, even though you guys went through the separation, even though, like you said, you knew back then, but it just wasn't, you needed a lot of healing and work to do. And that's cool. That to me is so powerful. Oh my gosh. I know, again, probably at the time you didn't really realize that, but that's that work. That's what helps us from
you asking about how this comes into a romantic relationship.
Girlfriend, that work is honestly why you probably, again, no perfect nothing, but why you have the type of relationship you have now with your man.
Right.
Why you guys have a loving, kind friendship, lover, the whole thing, the sparks, the partnership, the sparks, the parenting, all the reasons, the acceptance, the peace.
Like if I feel like enough for somebody, right? Like
you had to do that for yourself first. And you guys, that's something I'm telling you. It's huge. It's everything.
It really is.
Because
when you said like, tell me.
No, wait, for so many of us, again, this is not our fault. This is just how life is. Yeah. So many of us, we are truly on autopilot. We're just going through life. We're busy. We got to pay bills. We got this. We got to build. We got to work out. We got to do this. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And when you give yourself, when you're like, you know what? This is not working. I'm exhausted. I'm not feeling that connection. I don't have peace. When you give yourself this awareness, Jennie, oh my goodness, it will change your life.
Totally. Yes. I honestly think back to that time of me just being like, no to the relationship, and both him and I just being like, what's going on? Like it felt radical for me.
Yes.
It really did. Like, and you're so right. So many people go through, and again, it might still work out, but go through always with that void, and they end up with the person that they feel filled that void. But you still need to like fill your own void. Like you really need to love yourself. You can't always rely on someone else feeling that, because it'll come up in
And
other.
but Jenny, but even if they think it, okay, this is where it's at. Because if you really ask people, and ask that question, like, okay, listen, you've been with your partner for a certain amount of time. I always have this thing I ask. So to me, it's not a matter of how long someone's been together. That's great.
Right.
That's great. 'Cause I'll hear, well, we've been together for, 30 something years. Beautiful. That's amazing. Are you happy?
Right.
Have you been able to, in the 33 years, grow and build and just create truly, genuinely, that peace and whatever you want? So that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Sometimes we skip that.
Yes.
And then we find ourselves thinking, oh, well, I'm good. I've been with someone for 33 years. No. That's not what we're talking about.
Totally.
Because, the reality is we only have like just a short amount of time on this earth. Nobody knows how long you're going to have. And if you're going to get in romantic relationships, kids, and you want to have children and you want to have these romantic relationships, heal.
Yeah.
First, go with you, mama. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really powerful, babe. That's really powerful.
Right.
That's really powerful. How does that, let me ask you this.
Yes.
I know you're having me guys got to pick up the kids, but I have so much here, Jenny. Oh my goodness. Okay. So now I feel like I have to do rapid stuff now. Okay. Jenny. And I know, like I said, let's go back to the work you're doing. How does that really honestly play such a big part in us showing up? So we're married, we're in a relationship, we got our person. How does that really play such a big part, for those of us that truly want to have children and how we show up for our children? Can you talk about that?
Yes. I'm having so many downloads, I guess you could say, as you're talking, because while I know this work is so important, and of course I thought about it a little bit in my relationship and how the timing needed to be. Of course, like you said, why I have such a secure relationship now, and a lot of that noise that I'm thinking back to now just doesn't exist, right? There's just such a trust there that we would have never had before, because I would have always been I need to control. Anyway, now, yeah, I knew that when we got engaged. I was like, wow, I feel this is what was meant to be. Anyway,
I love that.
Why it was so important for how we show up is because it also, thank goodness I can model for my girls. And you could argue they could be any gender, of course, what a marriage and team looks like. And had I not done that, which is why, when you were do the work on yourself first, I wanted to kind of backtrack and be I feel like you can still do work together. You can, but really what I feel so strongly about is that I can show my daughters, what I deserve, what they deserve. And that wouldn't have been the case before, because I didn't have the love for myself. And not that my husband, who's been my boyfriend, would have maybe done, but I just wouldn't have been as assertive. I don't know. It could have
I know exactly what you're saying, because I truly believe with all my heart, doing this work when it comes to the matters of the heart, but also being a mama. And also, I grew up opposite. I grew up in chaos. And I truly believe, and again, it doesn't matter if you grew up in chaos or not chaos or whatever, everything still will play a part in how you show up. Okay. We were talked about that. So it's not like you have to have, so much trauma,
Right.
Some people are like, well, I didn't have that much trauma.
Right.
It still affects you. It all affects us. Okay. That's just keep it real, because I've had people that say the same thing. They've grew up with the sweetest parents, but then they ended up in the worst relationship. It affects us. Okay. Okay, cool. But I truly believe, and this is why I was so also, thank you for this. We're so excited about you being on too, because I truly believe with all my heart that, one of the most powerful things that we can do as a human being, and especially it has to start with ourselves. But if we're going to bring children into this world, Oh my gosh, that's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
It's a big responsibility. It is actually a big responsibility.
Yeah.
You are actually gonna be in a space providing not just shelter,
Right.
not just, food and all that. No, their well-being, their safety,
Yeah.
okay? How they feel. And I believe with all my heart, and like Jenny said, it doesn't matter if you're single or you're already in a marriage. When you heal and when you go inwards and get to the root, why you feel the way you do or why you're showing up the way you're showing up, changes everything. It is the best thing you can do for yourself as a human being. I know people hear this all the time. Do the work, do the work. The work is awareness.
Yes.
The work is really finding out who you are. Not what society has said you are or you should be or people. No. Who are you?
No, right.
You. Look at Jenny's story. That's a freaking, the lady is so educated and all this and all this. And like, seriously. So she had all that and that's beautiful. But honestly, where was her joy?
Right.
Her joy was actually with children.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Jenny, and the softness and the acceptance and the patience that it takes.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, Mama. Let me ask you this. I have a couple. I am not happy that I have to get off, but hold on. I'm going to do the best I can. I know.
We can fill people in. I'm picking up my kids today.
Yes,
so
you have to pick up her babies, okay? Because we're all about our children. This is the best, okay? And I knew I asked you. Okay, I actually wrote out questions. Okay, let me see, Jenny. Okay. I really believe when our kids feel stressed, it often mirrors what's happening in the home. Mm-hmm. How can parents begin to see that the way that they show up in their marriage and in their own healing is shaping their children's peace and security?
Yeah. I mean, this is so loaded, right? You don't want people to feel like guilt. And so I want to just preface it with that like there's been definite dysregulation in our home at times and times that I have gone to my girls and been like, Mommy and Daddy love each other. We were not speaking nicely to one another and there's always room for repair. So I want to preface that.
That's it right there. It's not, There's not going to be perfect, but there's going to be room for repair and you have to be aware of yourself.
Yes.
So keep going. That was
really about like how you want to demonstrate not a perfect relationship because it doesn't exist. And that also comes with its own can of worms that like you don't want your children to go into this world believing and seeking out something that doesn't exist or that they'll learn was actually like a complete dishonest situation. But I think modeling healthy conflict, right? Like hugging after, of course, I don't mean like volatile. I think there's healthy fighting and debates and things like that. So we'll start there. But when voices might have been raised higher than you wanted or a tone or like a misunderstanding, like I want to model for my kids, and it also makes you show up as this better version of yourself, even if at first it feels a little radical. Like I was someone that like had a very hard time apologizing. And now, in real, I was a constant, I'm sorry to every person on the street.
No, but when someone came and told you something, I know what you're saying. You're like, what, me? What? I didn't hurt your feelings.
Yeah. Defensive when it really mattered, right? And I'm like, wait, like you have mirrors, you have kids that are looking at you to navigate the world. And I didn't want to raise them to believe like being wrong is bad. Being wrong is healthy. You learn from being wrong.
Oh, yeah, it's very humbling.
Yeah, even to them, I'll be like, I wish I reacted differently then. And so that has kind of spilled over into my marriage, or you could say vice versa. Like I definitely repair, acknowledge, and things like that. But your question really was about how it can affect their nervous system. I think about that. If we're feeling stress in any dynamic at home, we're adults feeling stress. These little nervous systems are definitely feeling stress. If we feel that.
They feel it.
Yeah.
That's why babies, that's why babies, obviously think about this. Babies, that's how they communicate. So babies can't speak words, like, and articulate, what's going on with them. But they are able to feel. It's like an animal, you know what I mean? Like it's their senses of their feeling, their nervous system, they feel. So if they're in an environment that is, let's say for an example, if you are, constantly yelling and you're constantly, that's how you express yourself. They're feeling that. They're feeling that. They're feeling that. It's a nervous system thing. So it really does matter. I love that you're saying that. It really does matter. You're not going to get it perfect, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about also the repair. So if you have, well, watch yourself. Watch yourself. Watch your emotions. You don't need to listen. As a mother of 5 children, you guys, and my history is, I'm cute. I'm very loud. I'm very hyper. I'm very expressive. But I knew raising my children, it wasn't that I couldn't be me, but there was no room for my toxic screaming. Okay. That wasn't going to work. And I learned something as a mother, that I know this with all my heart. I don't care what anyone says. It really, 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 really comes down to how you show up. It's not what you say. You can say whatever the world you want to say. And trust me, as a mama, and when they get old, it's going in, it's going out. It's going in, it's going out. But your actions, the way that you're showing up, the way that you're showing them patience, the way that you're showing them kindness, the way that you are expressing, like, I love that you said that. Like, so if me and my husband have a disagreement, you don't want to put a people in a fake environment. Okay. People are going to have disagreements.
We're happy when like you're not.
Some days I'm just not in a good mood, Jenny. I'm kind of sad. I am. I'm kind of sad. And I don't want my children to feel like they always have to be happy either. Are you kidding me? No. Right. But it's really communicating. Oh, I love it. I have another question for you. Oh my goodness. Jenny.
I was in an elevator the other day and was like so frustrated with something. Like this guy wasn't understanding that I was like, you get out first. I'm like, bye, have a nice day. Like so condescending. And Tess is like, my daughter, 7 years old, is like, why did you sound like that?
Oh,
like, what? She's like, you sounded like bye and imitated me. I was like, you're right.
Oh.
I was like feeling impatient, but the normal me, whatever, like the pre-me would have been like, what are you talking? Defensive, right? Which is even more confusing. Like
that would have really messed her up even more.
Right. Anyway, like, yeah, just they
you guys, and I know, listen, Jenny and I, I mean, obviously we're having this conversation and this is her jam. This is what she has studied, child psychology, children, and all this. I get it. I love it. I love it. Love it. And I'm also coming from, a mother of been raising a lot of kids. And you guys, I'm an empty nester, so I've been doing it for a while. Okay. But I have to say this, Jenny, and I know this is going to ruffle some feathers and I got to do it. Okay. Like, stop with the bullshit, you guys. I'm serious. The way that we're raising our kids matters. Yes. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of having to like, well, it's not really, you got to be, no. Let me say something one more time. The way that you are showing up in your home really actually matters. Our children deserve a nice, loving environment. Are you kidding me? Why are we having kids?
Yeah.
If we're not really honestly providing a healthy, loving environment, this is not even about money. Okay. Right. This is not about money. So you can stop with that. This is not about money. This is about truly understanding. First of all, we are choosing to bring children into this world. Jenny, we're choosing. Choosing.
Yeah.
We have this responsibility, Jenny.
Right. It's a responsibility. Yeah.
To get our shit together.
Right.
To heal.
Yes.
To actually have a responsibility to be kind and patient. Don't be pointing the fingers out on kids while they're all hyper and screaming. If you're the screamer, are you kidding me? It's literally like the old saying. I mean, again, me being a mom, raising all the kids and they're gone. Can you even imagine? This is what parents do. This is actually what parents do. I'm going to give you an example right now, Jenny. I don't know why I'm so hyper right now. Okay, here we go. I got a cigarette in my hand. I swear, this is how it works.
Love it.
Let me tell you, Jenny, don't smoke. It's terrible for you. You know what I mean? What do you think? Oh.
Love it. That looks so good.
Right? what are they going to do? You think they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to smoke because my mom said I can have cancer.
Right.
And it's really bad. They're going to be like, why is my mom smoking? Wow, look at her.
It's so true.
And I'm not saying that the kids that are smoking, maybe you didn't smoke, but they could have got that from somebody else.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving an example. I'm just giving you my little example. Okay, Jenny, I know I have to let you go. How are we doing on time? Can I have another question?
Yes, we could do it.
Okay, let me see. Okay, why is it so important for children to feel truly seen? How does that shape the way they grow into adults and form relationships? Why is that so important?
Oh, I love this question.
Ugh.
Because of all of what we're talking about. And I want to just also say that when a child feels seen, we might not always get it right. So it's not like I see this child and know exactly what's bothering them, but it's honoring, I see this child as a person with real feelings. So let me also give an example that like sometimes a child will come home from school and we'll be like, how was your day? I'm giving an example. And they might be like, fine, and like storm off. Again, just giving an example. Not seeing that child as being like, how dare you? You have to give me respect, this or that. And there's a way to set boundaries and say, look, it looks like you might have had a rough day. You can't slam the door in my face, but I'm here if you want to talk about it. That's like seeing the child, right? Not just seeing the behavior. And you can obviously alter that for any age, young or older. So that's why I gave sort of this like vague example. But why it matters is because when we don't see a child and we just take it at sort of face value with behaviors or with anything, or we just kind of let them fend for themselves with like navigating these narratives we're talking about, that's when it forms into something that could be toxic. We might not catch all of them, but the ones that we can really see them with, those are the things that we should take the reins on, right? This external behavior that we're seeing. So often we don't see kids underneath that. And to me, those are real cries for, please see me.
Oh, I love that. That was really beautiful. No, that was. And you know what I love? It's actually simple.
Yeah.
It's just a shift. It's a shift. It's a pause. It's a shift. It's a different
hard,
perspective.
right? When a kid
is hard. But we got to do it, you guys. I'm telling you right now. I'm on a different level right now. No. It's necessity. It's something that you can actually do to help your child. Because I want to talk about, we are advocates for the children right now, Jenny. You know what I mean? Like, parents, we're adults already. I mean, you know what? Grow up. Like, seriously, it's okay. We're going to be fine. Right. We're going to be fine.
It's easy to forget in a moment, right? We feel disrespected. We feel this or that, but don't miss seeing your child. Right. We've been on this world 30, 40, 50, whatever years, however older you are, your children have not. It's our responsibility to really not become a child again, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Tantrum when they tantrum, and to help them feel seen.
And that's how and that's how children feel secure when they feel seen, when they feel like, you know what I mean, they can actually come to you and you're not going to lose your mind.
Right. You won't love them less.
Right. You're not going to love them less because the way it matters, the way that we're showing up. And if you're like, oh my goodness, 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 I love my children so much. And I just didn't realize this until this conversation today. That's amazing. That's awesome. Really cool. Because guess what? You can change today. You really can. You can just slow down. You can, you know what I mean? And always think about this too. Our brains, you guys, come on. Look at us. We have 52-year-old brain, 30-year-old brain, 40-year-old brains, and we're still trying to figure things out. Can you imagine the brains of a child? They're only like 10 years of a brain. I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing. They're still developing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. Okay, Jenny, how long do I have?
I do have to run to pick up that 7-year-old, but Charlene, I could talk to you forever. Like, it's so much fun. It's why everyone loves listening to you, the way you talk.
Jenny, I'm loving listening to you and what you've been sharing today. And I'm just so honored that you're here. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll bring her back to you guys. I'm telling you.
Love to come back.
I have some really powerful questions that we need you to answer, Jenny.
I am happy to answer them. I can answer them. We can share them. on Instagram. I can come back. I was just going to say a disclaimer that this is all because of my wonky Wi-Fi, that we were a little bit delayed. So I apologize that we only
It's okay. Jennie, so for the listeners right now, and they're like, oh my goodness, I got to get into Jennie's world because she's such an advocate for healthy relationships with yourself, with the people you love, and with children. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love her. How do they get in your world, Jennie? How do they find you? How can they get into your world? Seriously.
So you can follow me on Instagram at Jennie Monnes, JennieMonnes. Lots of double letters there. So I like to, spell it out. And then also my podcast, We Didn't Turn Out Okay, available on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. And those are like the starting points for all this work we're doing. If you're in New York City, come to Union Square Play with your young kids. If you have young kids, order some of our products off of CharmSpring that help bring calm to families with visual routine boards, all the things. But yeah, I'd say follow along on Instagram. And Charlene, I need to have you on my podcast.
Yes, please do. I would love that. Then we can keep talking again.
Yeah.
Okay, please reach out and then let's make sure we have that because I can keep talking to you forever. Jennie, is there anything when I know you got to go? She really has to go. So I'm really, really pushing it here. Is there anything that maybe just right now that we didn't say or that you want to just share?
Just that, a lot of this talk can make you feel, like we said earlier when I started this conversation, a little heavy or a lot of pressure to like all of a sudden heal. And I will say that I like to say it's a chipping away. And what I love that Charlene said is what everyone should take with them. It's about awareness. If you're just aware, you don't need to have all the answers. That awareness is how you start chipping away at healing. So I just want it to feel like a little bit more manageable or approachable. And I'd say to stick, keep that with you with what Charlene said. Start with just being aware.
I love that, you guys. And if you are listening today and you notice again, oh my goodness, I'm the yeller, I'm the impatient one, all that. Honestly, right there is huge. Because once you're aware, you got to sit down and do a little reflection. Honestly, do a reflection. And once you're aware of yourself, that's the opportunity that you can start showing up a little differently. Okay. And it's a muscle. It's a muscle. You guys trust me on this one as a mother, because I've done it all wrong too. And then I've left to learn. And then I had to, pivot, do it again. I mean, oh, hello. I'm not going to keep you anymore. I'm just going to keep going. Okay. But the awareness is the start, because once you can see yourself, you can start changing it differently. So you can see yourself, oh, I'm not that patient. So let me, before I react, let me just slow down a little bit. Let me just slow down. I love it. I love that you said that. Jennie, thank you so much. You are an incredible woman. We are so honored to have you on the podcast today. And to next time, cheers to great love. If you're loving this podcast and these incredible conversations, please hit the subscribe button and leave a 5-star review. Don't miss an episode, because each week I'll be bringing on guests and experts who will share their knowledge about love, dating, and relationships so you can apply it into your own life. I'll see you next week. And until then, cheers to great love.